Very happy to be with you today. We are W Agency and we are very proud to have this moment with you all to present our expertise. So if everyone probably is here, we can begin the presentation. So let's go. Who we are probably very quickly. Around the table, you have the expert of retail within the Paris office. I am Charlotte. I'm in charge of the marketing and new business in W. I am with Estelle Mège, who is managing director of the architecture expertise, but I am also with Anaïs Guillemané, who is our managing director in charge of strategy. So I can say that you have the best people within W Agency today to try present you our expertise in architecture, but also in design experience. So very quickly to present the agency, we are based in Paris and we are a dedicated agency dedicated to brand. We have strategic and creative people internally, and our mission is really to help companies to develop and transform through the brand and for the common good. We have developed a dedicated concept named Contributing with the purpose really to help the company to grow and progress for the common good. And we are all aware about the CSR ambition and the CSR issue we have all to face today. And we are convinced that brands and spaces and architecture can help the company to grow for common good. We have put experience at the heart of our agency because we think that experience is I would say the more emotional link with customer, but also with internal people. We are able to work from the meaning to the appearance, but with a huge focus around experience because we think that brand needs to give an emotional link, give an emotional experience to all the customer and to all, I would say, the external agencies, all stakeholders. As I said in introduction, we are based in Paris, part of the Havas network for sure, founded in 1998. We are around 100 people, focused on branding and design, architecture, but for sure also around digital. We have the chance to be certified ISO 40001, and it's something that is really important for us because architecture and design has also to respect this kind of ambition of CSR engagement. We are working with a lot of companies in France, but also at an international scale around branding, but also experience and architecture, as I said in introduction, because we are really convinced that places can really help company and brand to transform themselves. Places can help people to evolve, places can help business to transform, but places can also make the company progress on a CSR perspective. We have an inclusive approach from strategy, as I said in introduction, to design, but we have also a team dedicated to build spaces from prototypes, also works and so on. That is really important to have this inclusive approach because we are convinced that we need to be able to really build spaces to be sure that the strategy can be really embodied in the space we are working on. We are not specialized in one universe or one sector. We have the chance to work around food retail, but also I would say more experimental spaces. We are working also around automotive and a very diversified sector. And we are going to present you at the end of this presentation some of our major credentials that will answer some question probably you ask yourself around what is the future about architecture, but also retail. Just to finish the presentation of our agency, we have the chance to be the branding and architecture dedicated agency for Paris 2024, and we are very proud of that. You have probably seen the mascot that we have created for Paris 2024, something that we are very proud of, and I think there are a huge debate around this mascot. But we also worked with Paris 2024 around all their look and feel, all the picto representing the different sports, but also all the branding experiences that you will probably see on screen during the Paris 2024 show, but also that you're going to probably be living if you have the chance to come to Paris at this moment. So there is a lot of things that will come around this collaboration with Paris 2024, And we hope that we can probably discuss again with you to present you the following things that are going to be launched in the next few months. That was the introduction of the agency, so probably I'm going to let the stage story to Anaïs, who is going to present you some insight from studies that we have developed around retail and around architecture.
Many thanks, Charlotte. And yes, we're going to look at a study we've done in 2022. Basically, as Charlotte was saying, we are an agency that is working with numerous networks of retailers. And last year, we wanted to understand better how the current state of inflation, innovation, and environmental consciousness was in reality impacting habits and expectations from people. Basically, if you walk in on any type of retail account, you know that there is a lot of things going on. There are people that are against the construction of new sites. For instance, there are each and every week a kind of new disruption that is going to change the way we do business. So it was important for us to take this step back and to know exactly what was really changing for the people. It's a quantitative study that we've done in France, so sorry for you guys abroad, but at the same time, I'm sure that you will find some insights that will resonate with your country, your own transformations, and also some insights that could come handy for you. So first, learning. What was really interesting for us is to realize that in a way, something that used to be a real pleasure, something really easy and something that was a pleasure of everyday life is starting to be more and more polarizing. 58% of people say that shopping is a daily pleasure, so this is still the majority of people, but for 38% of people, it is a necessary evil. This is something that is a bit strong in terms of language, so you can imagine how negative the imagery that they have in their head towards retail is. But if we want to look a bit further and to understand who are these people and what are the different typology we can see beyond these two numbers that are really different. What is interesting, it's not that much Gen Z against Boomer. Sorry for the headline, it would have been easier, but actually what is kind of interesting is that it's more something that is linked to the gender. So for 62% of women, shopping is still a daily pleasure. It's something that you're looking for, while for men, it's less the case. And if we look at the young generation, so 18 to 34 years old people, it's something that is a bit strange because we've heard about how worried this young generation was regarding environment, but at the same time, they are more inclined to say that shopping is a pleasure of everyday life. If we take a moment to understand it, it's because for them, it's still an activity you do and some things that give you a way out of the ordinary. The same way that people who have children tend to enjoy shopping more. Why is that? Because the same way for them, it's a way to go out and spend a day with their family, having an activity that is to say shopping. Another element that was interesting to find is that there is a kind of a rule of thumb in terms of destination. It's pretty basic maybe, but the less often you go to a place, the more you can actually appreciate it. In terms of format, what it means is that there is a format of reason, the one where you go on a daily basis and that you kind of dislike, and the one you go less often but that you tend to like. So formats of reason are supermarkets, hypermarkets, and local shops, and formats of passion are shopping centers, online shopping sites. What is kind of interesting is that actually local shops tend to have a good press. Like you may have looked at a lot of people saying that they found it more useful for the urban life. And you can see on the other hand that shopping centers tend to have a bad press. What can we learn from this discrepancy between what people like and the press with this type of shopping destination have, is that there is a growing discrepancy between the me as an individual that is still looking for pleasure, still looking for a big box shopping destination where you can find everything under one roof and spend 2 hours enjoying yourself, and at the same time the me as a citizen, the me that is looking for a common good and is thinking that local shops are good, obviously, for jobs, because it's creating more jobs, and at the same time has a positive impact on the neighborhood I'm living in. So this is an insight that was really interesting. And also, if we look at the next slide, there is a difference between, there is a difference between the persons that I tend to say that they like one destination more than the other. If we look at the persons that tend to like local shops, there are the persons that actually do not like going for shopping. So it's directly linked. I don't like to go shopping, so I find it really practical to go just close to my home and find the things that I was looking for. And for the persons that are more inclined to find it pleasurable to go for to go shopping, like the 18-34 years old we were talking about, obviously they tend to enjoy more shopping centers. But besides this global perception of shopping as a whole, we wanted to deep dive into the specifics of expected experience online versus offline, aka in our job, the great scheme of shopping. There is something that is pretty obvious, is that you wouldn't go shopping online for certain type of product, and you wouldn't go, you would have much more, it would be, much more easier to go shopping online for certain types of products. And when we look at the habits, actually, there is a rule that is quite simple. You go online for what is commoditized. Meaning, so this is the next slide, meaning that basically anything where you can find all the information regarding the product on a simple product information sheets, for instance, books, CDs, electronic device, all of these are the all of these products are the ones that are that you are going to look online for. And on the other hand, what you're going to look for offline is either the ordinary products or the extraordinary. So on the other side slide, we can see that there is groceries that are the main stuff that you're still going to look offline, with 68% of people saying I wouldn't go online to shop for this type of products. And on the other hand, jewelry, furniture, things of the extraordinary purchases kind of stuff, you wouldn't go online also to buy them. What does it mean, actually? It seems kind of obvious, but at the same time, we can see that there is two types of definition of practicalities that are on the rise, and that we have to keep in mind when we are designing for experiences online or offline. What people are looking for when they are actually going on a shop in real life, may I say, is obviously they are looking for the senses, for the whole experience, with the ability to see, to touch, to smell, to try. This is what is really important. This is what we should focus and put the emphasis on. At the same time, there is obviously the immediacy that I'm looking for. I will be able to go do my groceries and take them right away. So this is pretty basic, but it's what people are looking for. And at the same time, there are two things that were quite quirky in a way to find, is that offline shopping is good for local merchants. I go offline also because I want to be a good person. And this wasn't the case a couple of years ago. So this is a topic that is kind of new and that make people prefer going offline. And the other thing that was interesting is that I'm more and more looking for expertise. So this means that salesperson and the job that we do going to ask from salesperson is starting to shift a bit from being just people handling a store to people that I can speak to and that have things to say about the products, about the category and stuff like that. What I'm looking for, French people that are going online for to shop, is basically to be in control. So the thing that I'm looking for is first to shop when I want and where I want. This is the at I want part, like meaning leave me alone in my PGs. And the other thing that I'm looking for is the best price tag. And this is going to be much more important as the inflation goes on. Also, what is the practicality that I'm looking for online is finding all the information to be able to compare and to be still in control and to be more in control that I am offline. And the last part that was really important for people was the ability to not to have the hassle of going to a destination. Meaning back to the PGs, actually, more and more people are finding the experience, the fact of going to a place kind of tiring. This is really also new. This is basically linked to the fact that we've done so many things online for the couple of years, and that now going to a place is going to be more and more perceived as tiring. But we will go back to that. Obviously, the expectation is now that brands will adapt their concept, websites, and above all, CRM, so that your experience is fluid as you are. This is what people are expecting. Actually, 2/3 of people are explaining that they are expecting from stores and from website a flexible shopping experience. 55% of people expect to be able to buy online and to pick in store. So frictionless is a new normal. Second part is that the sources of information that people are using to go shopping are more and more diverse. 67% of people are looking for product information online. But if we look a bit more in detail, what we see is that there are differences in what sources people appreciate more. Basically, tell me what advice you follow, and I will tell you who you are. So confidence for 50 to 65 years old is basically a question of expertise. I'm looking for someone that is going to have the right information, and I'm looking for this type of confidence. When I'm 18 to 34 years old, the source that I'm going to believe and rely on is not the same. I'm going to look for proximity, for people that I know, either my friends or my family, but these are going to be the persons that I'm going to follow in order to make my purchase. Another point that was kind of interesting was to see that even though when you are looking from the industry side, it feels like everything is shifting all the time. For people, it's kind of the same old feeling. Meaning that 68% of people feel like they have not had any kind of new experience in the last couple of years. We have to make this figure shift, obviously. But can we look a bit more precisely at what could be a way to renew the experience? If we go on the last part, we have asked people actually what they are looking for, both in terms of innovation, in terms of engagement, in terms of also things that the hurdles and the weaknesses that they are seeing in the industry and that they wish to see shifting. But breaking news, I'm sorry about that, but that's why we have a last part in our presentation. Data does not have all the answers, meaning that people are expecting some things, but we really have to imagine new things. So last couple of insights and learnings we wanted to share with you today is that when we look at what people have tested in the last couple of years and that they consider as innovations, we see that it's basically things about financial services, so buy now, pay later, pay in installments, but also click and collect. People are really growing fonder and fonder of click and collect. And at the same time, the things that were a bit more technological, like using speakers to control and to make your purchase, or direct purchasing, or purchasing over chat, or stuff like that. This is something that people have not been inclined to use, and that have been used by less than 1 out of 5%. This is for today, but if we look at what people are expecting tomorrow to use, actually, is there a big breakthrough? And the answer is no, not that much. So next slide, what we can see is that actually, when we ask to people, what is attractive to you? What are you wishing for in the next year? Sorry. It's pretty basic. It's it's about pricing, discount, and our discount is something that is really important and really expected from the industry. So 72% of people say, I want more discount tomorrow, and they found it innovative. 72% also of people are wishing to see the retail industry entering the re-era. What we mean by re-era is repair, rental, all this type of stuff that enable you to use longer, to use your product for a longer time, or enables you to make it, to resell it, or to make it, to leave it to someone else. And obviously, once again, click and collect, people are really in love with this service. So this is what people are actually looking for. It's not really innovative in any way. When we look at other stuff that were put over there, like entertainment, all the things that you can see in the new industry news, actually it's not performing very well. But one other element, and we wanted to make a bit of a focus on that, is that a strong expectation of brand commitment is expressed by the people. They want to maintain purchasing power. They are really concerned about that, and they expect retailers to play a big role on this end. And actually, because we're in France, they also expect the government to play a big role on this new concern. So purchasing power and showing off in your concept store that you are building and acting upon the purchasing power of your consumers is something really important. Last but not least, there are two elements we wanted to share with you. One is there is this in real life fatigue. People don't want anymore to go to a place. I'm pretty sure that you had someone like your banker asking you to go and to come over to sign some type of paper in the last year, and you were asking yourself, why can't I do it online? This is something that more and more people are asking for. They are basically used to do everything online, so we have to give a good reason to come over. And especially with young people, 48% of 18 to 24 years old prefer online shopping because they found physical shopping too tiring. So this is a big topic we have in France right now regarding fatigue and the expression of not having the fuel, the need to do things that used to be normal. And regarding retail, it's going to be something really important, giving a good reason to come online, to experience some things that was not possible online. So this is the last part and the last element we wanted to share with you. Besides this in real life fatigue, tomorrow shopping will be green or won't be. We ask basically people, in your opinion, the retail sector should invest or involve in which way? And everything was performing kind of meh, you know, like the 10% performance you can see above. But the only thing that they are asking for is for the shopping and for the retailers to embrace the ecological transition. What does that mean? It means two things. Basically building in a new way. So being more conscious about the environment they are building their shops into. So this is the first and really important part, and it's no small thing to do that. And the other part is helping them out embrace the ecological transition in their daily life. For instance, helping them out find the right fruits that are the fruits of the season and stuff like that. So helping also in the daily life to acquire new habits and also make it possible financially speaking. So this was the last element. I think I'm going to skip this equation of patience because I can talk too much on this slide. But we wanted I wanted to thank you for listening. And as you can see, we have not answered the question of what will be the retail of the future. But as often with studies, it's not about finding answers, but finding the right questions that are asked by the people. And we can distinguish a few of them that I wanted to recap with you before going into the thing we do at W and giving the mic to Estelle. The first question is, how can we imagine retail stores that are that give a good reason to come? This is the first question. How can we help people take sustainable habits? How can we be more relevant to our target and to be more relevant to their actual needs? And how can we change the role of a salesperson? So, Estelle, I'm leaving you the mic.
Thank you, Anaïs. So how can we imagine a more desirable future for retail? That's a very exciting question for us experienced designers, as we call ourselves. In a nutshell, how to get customers still want to go to physical stores. What added value should retailers offer their customers, etc. So in this second half of the presentation, we are very glad to share with you 6 key takeaways from our most recent retail design projects. And the first example that we want to share with you today is McDonald's, that has been our clients for almost 10 years now for the design evolution and rollout of their restaurants in France. As probably in all your countries, even though I don't know the markets of all your countries, but I believe that it's the same thing, that McDonald's must permanently continue to innovate so as to maintain its leadership position on a fast food market that is more and more competitive. And also, McDonald's has constantly to reinvent its experience to cope with these new customers that Anaïs described, expectation in terms of fluidity of the experience, in terms of integration of hybrid digital uses, etc. So in a nutshell, our work for McDonald's really includes at the heart of it the permanent optimization of the restaurant layout in terms of fluidity and efficiency of the customer journey, of course, to be better and better in each day in the service posture, how to integrate the digital in-store, considering the new patterns, the new habits of digital ordering, ordering kiosk, click and collect, drive, click and drive, etc., that has taken more and more a greater and greater part in the business. And also how to create new formats for the customers, designed for the customers, like Originals, the one you see on the screen now, which is a small format mainly dedicated to the takeaway consumption, and where, of course, 100% of the orders are digitalized. So as we've seen in the study Anaïs shared with us just before, the most attractive and expected innovations are the most basic ones, and especially those that allow the integration of customers' new phygital uses. So the first key learning, the first key takeaway that we wanted to share with you today is that retailers should integrate digital in store, not gimmicky, not showy wow effect digital, but on the very contrary, useful and relevant digital to the new customer journey. Second example is Potager City. Potager City is a very, very new concept, a convenience store network that we designed for the retailer Carrefour, which, as you probably know, is one of the leading retailers in France. And for those of you who don't speak French, potager in French means vegetable garden. The brand Potager City embodies the best of both worlds, between the agricultural world and the urban world, Potager City. So one key element for this brand and this new concept is that Potager City was originally a startup, a digital native brand specialized in home delivery for fruit and vegetables baskets, with a very, very strong commitment from the beginning to better eating, to the promotion of short circuits between producers and customers, and of a more responsible consumption. In this new concept, which is designed for city centers in France, Carrefour and Potager City have really joined their forces to offer as many people as possible, that's Carrefour force, access to seasonal, local, and quality products. So really the second key takeaway that we wanted to share with you today is that in order to attract a consumer that literally vote with his wallets and expect very strong and true responsible commitments from the brands it chooses, retailers to do that must provide proof of their responsible commitments in the points of sales. In other words, they must shift from a brand promise that is very high, that is very inspirational, to really concrete and tangible proofs in their points of sale, and that was the point of that example. The third one is Roland-Garros Paris. You may all know this emblematic tournament. We've been working on the total revamping of the Roland-Garros Stadium for almost 8 years now. It's a huge project. And we wanted to share it with you because as we heard in the study, one of the main reasons for customers to go to physical places is to experience the brand, to turn the venue into an experience center that offers ways to learn about the brand, to better understand its history, its values, and eventually to create a more intimate relation with the brand. Our work for Roland-Garros includes the idea of, as you can see on this picture, really creating spaces that are fueled by all the stories, all the big story and the little story and anecdotes even of the tournament throughout the visitor's path, to create really rich and really consistent storytelling all over the place, filled with multimedia content on the history of the tournament, filled with mythical objects related to tennis, filled with art, craft also. So what we can take away from this example is really to use the venues, to use the places as place to develop storytelling, to literally tell stories, and doing so to meet a very strong consumer expectation, which is expectation for added value content. Example number 4, and very close to our hearts, is La Poste. La Poste is the French postal network, which we've been working for years on the post office experience. And I believe that the post office experience must be the same all over the world. So the main challenge for La Poste, as you can imagine, were both to improve customer satisfaction, to kill the huge pain points of a post office, such as the long waiting lines or the lack of quality time in the experience, and also to maximize the commercial performance of the products and services offered. To do so, we work for La Poste on the creation of what you can see here, which is a strategy of formats, personalized format for different types of consumer. This one that we showed to share with you today is a format that is specially designed for young target audience and designed to meet the expectations of millennials in terms of tailor-made solution and customization. We've also designed other formats for travelers, for example, or for tourists, but this one is very important in La Poste strategy because, as you can understand, the millennial target is a key target for them. So really the learning of this example is put your audience understanding, close understanding, and the user experience at the core of the retail strategy in order to be able to design bespoke solutions, tailor-made offers, personalized formats, and really to have a value proposition that will be very adapted to your customers. Example number 5 is Peugeot, the car manufacturer. We've been working with Peugeot on the design of its dealerships and also on the brand's move up market, as you can see it, the new brand identity. And the main challenge for Peugeot was obviously to continue to upgrade the brand's image and to boost the brand's desirability on a very competitive market. So our work includes the redesign of the dealership concept, really inspired by the codes of the high-end hotel industry. That's interesting how you can use the imaginary link to another sector in a car manufacturer store in order to move from what was before a simple car showroom with a lot of cars exposed to a place of image with a strong brand personality. In substance, it's for brands, we believe strongly that for brands that are lucky enough to have physical touch points, venues are a very powerful media for brands, for these brands, because it's the media of the senses, it's the media of sight, of touch, of smell, of relationship. Consequently, premiumizing, as you can see on these images, the experience will really help this brand to upgrade their perception and boost their desirability. Last example, the 6th one, is also a very, very new one. It's X-Time. The Apinio study that Anaïs shared with us also showed that stores are not only for shopping anymore, and that retailers and places must add additional services in order to create attractive destination. The only fact of selling products is not enough to make people move from their sofa and will to go to the places. X-Time is the perfect illustration of that move because X-Time is Paris Aéroport new hospitality brand, which purpose is to offer each traveler a timeless experience through its services, through its design, through its commercial offers. It's really a hospitality experience in the heart of the airport. With a new brand that embodies throughout the traveler's journey, as you can see on the image, in the lounges, in the duty-free stores, in all over the place, in the signage even, to create an upscale and coherent experience all along the way, driven by the notion of excellence of service. So the key learning of this example, and that will be the last key learning, simply said, is no service, no business. Retailers really have to dramatize the service and to make the experience unique in order to create a value for customer to move from their sofa and to not listen to their tiredness, as Anaïs exposed it, but really to be willing to go on site. That was the 6 takeaways that we wanted to share with you today, and I think we are at the end of our presentation.
Indeed.
Yes, we are. No. Oh. I don't know if you hear me well.
Yeah, we hear you.
Thank you so much, everyone, to have listened to us. I think we are just on time, 45 minutes together. Please don't hesitate to come back to us to continue this huge debate and its huge mission that we're trying to reach every day, to imagine this new desirable future for retail and for architecture spaces. Thank you so much, and please don't hesitate to come back to us and to contact us if you need more information or if you want to discuss.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.